Hello, my name is Judy Frick, and I'm one of 5 Junior League members conducting nonprofit board development training. All of us are certified as consultants through BoardSource, a national organization dedicated to supporting nonprofit boards. In addition to conducting training sessions for the Junior League members and for the Kansas Nonprofit Chambers Board University Series, we are also available to provide sessions and consultations for nonprofit community boards. As part of the BoardSource initiative, we have developed several brief modules to assist boards to understand their roles and responsibilities. For more in-depth information, individual board members can participate in Board University and in Junior League sessions to develop their expertise. All of the modules are available on the Junior League of Wichita and the Nonprofit Chamber websites. Today, we're going to visit about building the board. This is the board building cycle. Several points occur. First of all, ensuring a competent board is a key board member responsibility. It involves several steps and is an ongoing process all year round. It is the role of the governance committee to educate board members on this crucial task and to provide board education. It's important to have a pool of board members to choose from. So it's March, and you plan to bring on 3 new board members in June. Are you prepared? In regard to board recruitment, diversity is a topic that has been much discussed of late, and it means a variety of things: ideas, age, gender, skills, connections to the community, as well as ethnicity. The board profile tool, which is included in your information, will help you figure out what you need. According to BoardSource report, the levels of board diversity have largely remained the same since 1994, even though 65% of CEOs report that they are somewhat or extremely dissatisfied with their board's racial and ethnic diversity, and 41% of board chairs agree. People often speak of diversity and inclusion together. Once a board member is recruited, it is essential that he or she feel included and believe their contributions are valuable. This slide reflects diversity of thought and skills. Let's just look at a few of these folks. The facilitator encourages full participation and ensures that different views are heard. The analyst, for example, is good at sorting through large amounts of data and analyzing the options. The healthy skeptic enjoys questioning the pros and cons and plays the devil's advocate, although I am told the devil has enough advocates. So let's review some of these steps in the board building cycle. First of all, we need to identify and cultivate the potential board members. We're not looking at resume building. We're looking at passion and interest in the organization, as well as skills, knowledge, and community connections. The board profile tool will help you identify some of these. Then, where do we go to find board members? Sources include, obviously, board members themselves from the organization, staff members, volunteers, donors, and sponsors. And how do we connect folks to our organization? First of all, it's extremely helpful to include them in special events that you may be sponsoring. Another idea is to include them on committees. That's a very good way of finding out if it will be a fit for the potential board member as well as for the organization. And then many organizations have a number of activities, such as tutoring or mentoring if it's a youth organization. And of course, it's important all the while to keep feeding people information about the organization. Next is recruiting. One of the key tools in recruiting is a toolkit which contains a variety of information: the elevator speech, stories, financial information, outcomes, future plans. And it's really important to convey why the organization exists. What is the need? Why are you necessary? Another excellent tool is a set of interview questions, and this also is included with your information. It contains key characteristics of effective board members, such as passion, available time, motivation, constraints, expectations, and role on the board, and the opportunity to contribute. Another tool is an individual board engagement plan and assessment, or a board member job descriptions. The engagement plan is also included with your information, and it lays out the expectations in regard to attendance, financial commitment, and the ambassador role, which means connecting donors, potential board members, and community contacts with the organization. I think one of the best examples of this is Jan Luth, who was the third CEO of Exploration Place. When she came to town, she requested that the board members connect her with the 100 people that she needed to know in our community and make those introductions. Jan went out and met the people and solicited a great deal of information from them, which was very helpful in setting a course for Exploration Place. Then the last thing is opportunities to contribute. I remember recruiting a board member from Burger King, and he said, "Well, what is it you want me to do? How can I help?" And I thought, that's a really good question, and one that you should go prepared to answer. Then, once the board member is on the board, an orientation is essential. An orientation to the organization, such as a history, maybe an annual report, program descriptions, finances, and future plans, and an orientation to the board structure. Who are the board members? What are the responsibilities? What about a copy of the bylaws? And what about key staff? Is there an org chart and a list of committees? So now the board member is on board, and we've spent considerable time recruiting and cultivating this person. Too often, we leave these folks to their own devices when they really need support. Obviously, the orientation is a first step, but then we really need to involve the board member. Assign the person to a committee or a task force. That's a really good way to get introduced to the work of the organization. Another strategy is assigning a board member a mentor or a buddy, and that person might check in with the new board member prior to a meeting and ask, do you have any questions on the materials that have been sent out, or explain what it's all about. And then after the meeting, the mentor might also check in and determine if the new member has any questions and solicit that person's feedback, because people want to feel valued. Then, of course, connecting the person with the mission and services. For example, if you're a youth organization, involving the person in tutoring or mentoring might be helpful. And also providing the new board member with board development opportunities. And lastly, we need to evaluate and rotate. We can evaluate through a board self-assessment, which determines the board's functioning abilities, and also for the individual plan and assessment, which I mentioned earlier. The assessment lets the individual know if he or she has fulfilled the commitment made to the plan. And then rotate. We talk about term limits, and there are many pros and cons. However, it's important to balance new member fresh perspectives with historical perspectives. Typically, a board member serves a 3-year term, or maybe 2 3-year terms, and then there is a limit. The person rotates off and maybe serves on a committee for a year. After that, they may rotate back on if they wish. It's also important not to automatically renew a second term or even on an annual basis. It is good for a member of the executive committee or the governance committee to sit down with the board member and ask where they are in their life's progress and if they wish to continue or not, because sometimes it's just not a good time. And of course, there are always resignations. In summary, the board building process requires a significant investment in time to achieve positive results, but it's worth it.